Are those Holbeins? My mother used to keep a few of those in the house. Yeah, she said they gave the place an air of intelligence. That woman could have justified every minute detail of her great estate. Each chair and table, each colour and wallpaper, every speck of dust. I remember running down the halls and looking up at the looming faces of men and women, long dead, and wondering why anyone would keep such a reminder of death in a place with children. There was 100 things that seemed so strange about that house. Mazes of corridors that would have stranded the greatest of explorers, and antique appliances, a labyrinth of sights and smells. And the garden, it's a field of white roses, so even in the summer it looked as if a fresh layer of snow had fallen. What a funny place. What a quiet place. Rich person silence. That's what I call it. You ever heard of that? Rich person silence? It's the kind of silence that occurs when a person with a vast amount of wealth decides to pause even for a brief moment. And they look around and figure out that they can't buy everything. They can't convert 1,000 hot tubs into time, or Ferraris into a relationship with their children, or digits on a screen into a happy retirement. And so a deafening silence that echoes for miles. A state of crippling disbelief. And suddenly everything is so perfectly imperfect, because even with money that can topple nations and influence global affairs, you're still not really in control. We manage to avoid it because we're constantly working, buying and selling and improving, never stopping. That was my mother's mistake. She took a moment to stop and look around, and she realised the damage she'd done and that nothing she could do would salvage it. Even with her billions, she couldn't buy back her choices. She grew apathetic. My advice, Celsius, never stop to look around. The morals don't exist, not unless you let them. You can run across them like swift feet on quicksand, but as soon as you stop to look at what you're standing on, there's no going back. This place really does remind me of our estate in Beverly Hills. Or maybe it was the Hamptons. Or maybe it was Miami Beach. I can't remember. There are so many places my mother bought. A house, another house, another house. As if 4 walls and a roof could make a place more valuable. And she'd hate me for saying that. She would say that I was being a moron, and that architecture is a key part of human expression. It's a valuable asset for future historians to assess what people were thinking. Bullshit. It doesn't matter what she would have said, she's dead now. She'd hate me saying that too. How improper you're being, Farron. A businesswoman, she was. A proper one at that. Funny part is, I never even knew what she sold. I think it was some tiny screw for cars. But it didn't matter. Her real business was people. Although she was a hard woman to impress, but my father always had a way of making her smile. Not a large smile. She would kill herself if anyone saw her showing any sign of happiness or unprofessionalism. But a tiny smirk when he told her a joke or when he said something she was thinking. The kind of smile that read as, I hate that you can make me feel this way, and I hate you and your face and your jokes, but God, do I love you. I have a hard time remembering that smile. My memory is fading as time goes on. I can't even trust my own recollection of things. You shouldn't either, Celsius. Don't trust anything, not even yourself. To trust is to relieve yourself of the responsibility of thinking. You blind yourself with ignorance. My mother would agree with me on that. She would say the only people who shouldn't think are dead people, Baron. And you have a lot of thinking to do before that happens.